So behind me here is Acklam Grange, and I lived in the flat Acklam Grange. There's a little sort of addition, sort of like a rectangular piece to the side of this, and that was my flat. I used to park in front of it, and around the back there was an entrance at ground level, and I'd go up a spiral staircase into a one-bedroom flat, but a very, very big, spacious one-bedroom flat. And basically I moved here, so this is in a little village called Acklam, probably about 13 miles northeast, I guess, of York. So yeah, I moved here from leaving under a dark cloud from Hull. Came to this place. It was an incredibly cheap rent, and the landlords who lived in the main house, James and Grizzle, were wonderful to me, really. You know, I left, and at this stage in my life I'm probably hated by most people that know me, through leaving Gemma pregnant with my son Ezra, and leaving behind a 6-year-old daughter Ava, etc. And yeah, I basically was not flavour of the month, and probably still am not flavour of the month many years later. But anyway, this family took me in, weren't judgmental in any kind of way, understood where I was coming from, and were open and gracious. Yeah, and that's despite the fact that I'm paying rent. It didn't matter. At the end of the day, they were a really nice family to me, and this really was quite an incredible place to be, basically, after what was quite a traumatic few years for me, and a very difficult period in my life. To then come here and have a couple of years, I guess, of respite, really. This was something that I needed at the time. We're in a beautiful part of Yorkshire. This is in the Yorkshire Wolds. From my living room on a clear day I could look down and see York Minster. On a really clear day I could see the golf balls at Menwith Hill, just the other side of Harrogate. And then if I went up the road here a little bit, where I've actually parked the van, you can actually see the Yorkshire Moors. So it really was a stunning place. I used to do a lot of running around here. This really tested my running to an extreme, because this was unbelievably hilly around here. And in fact there's a hill which I shot on the way down. It's like a 20% gradient. In all the times I ran up that hill, or at least tried to run up that hill, which were many times, I think I only ever managed to run from the bottom to the top without stopping twice. The rest of the times I would stop halfway, then walk, or 3/4 of the way and walk. It was an absolute killer of a hill, and I literally run it loads of times, hundreds of times almost, and yeah, it was just impossible to run from the bottom to the top. It was so difficult. But I did have a good couple of few years here. I left in the end mainly because I was planning something with my girlfriend at the time, and so I went down to Pocklington and stayed in a small flat in Pocklington just for a very short space of time. The other reason was that I had the most humongous electric bill from this place behind me. It had storage heaters, and it was a big flat, and it was cold a lot of the time, and trying to heat it was very, very difficult, up to the point where I got a bill at some point, and put it this way, it was way over £1,000 electric bill, which I just couldn't afford. And so moving and going to a place where I could sort my finances, etc., seemed to be the best path, of course. Also, I kind of did have to move in the end anyway, because James and Grizzle was actually having to sell the house, so I had to move, because unfortunately in the time that I stayed here, James passed away. I've actually just been to visit his grave. Actually, it's just here in the churchyard. It's a very beautiful cemetery just round the corner here. So yeah, it was sad when James passed away, and I learnt about this when I was sat in the Half Moon pub, which is just down the road here. I was sat there having Sunday dinner with my daughter, and we kind of overheard various conversations in the pub, etc. And it was through those conversations that I learnt that he'd passed away. And then I think Grizzle, she actually moved, I think she ended up moving into Pocklington. So the house was sold, and yeah, it's changed quite a lot since I was here. There's been a lot of work done to it, etc. But I do have some really fond memories here with Ezra as a baby toddler, sort of crawling in the garden at the back. The back of here is the most stunning garden, beautiful, beautiful garden, and pictures of him crawling on the grass, etc., and us having little picnics and things like that. So I do have some really fond memories of this place, even though it being in a part of my life which was sort of just coming through what was a bit of an upheaval and a bit of a dark patch. But it is nice visiting it now and just seeing it, and seeing how peaceful and beautiful this little village is. And the views from here are just absolutely breathtaking. They're so lovely. So this is the flat, Acklam Grange. Just behind me is 1B Chapman Gate, and this was a very short gap between me leaving Acklam and going to move in with my girlfriend at the time in Worcester. So this was just a little stopgap. It was a decent rent, and it was proper central heating, unlike Acklam. And this was quite nice. We're in a market town. Yeah, this is 1B Chapman Gate, Pocklington. It's a nice little market town. There was nice little pubs and takeaways and all sorts of bits and pieces. It was only a 20-25 minute drive from work, so this was quite a nice little place actually. And I think I was here for about 6 months, maybe a bit longer, but a nice little stopgap between Acklam and Worcester. Right, so behind me is the cottage in Wistow, and you know when you move heaven and earth for someone and you'll bend over backwards, etc., to do whatever it is, whatever it takes to make someone happy. This was one of those. Basically, it was a move to try to make a sad situation and try and mend it and try and make it better and try and solidify things, but it just didn't work, unfortunately. And my girlfriend and I moved in here from our respective flats, single flats that we had, and we came in here and we got a biggish place, a place which would accommodate my children, etc. And yeah, it just basically just didn't work, and unfortunately this was the demise of the end of what was the greenest grass on the other side. Unfortunately it wasn't, and this is the point where karma had her vengeance and came and bit me in the arse severely, and my girlfriend dumped me, and I was left here with debts that were just sky high, and had to sort of get out of here. We actually had to get out of here anyway because the landlord had done a fast one on us, so we had to go, which was just sort of put more pressure on the situation. And I left here and went back to York. But this was nice for a very, very brief time. There was almost like we almost found Shangri-La for a moment, and this was this lovely little cottage in Wistow just outside of Selby. We had a really lovely Christmas here, but unfortunately it just wasn't to be, and that was the end of that very short episode in this house. But more importantly, an episode in which I broke a family to start something new, and all of that just went fucking tits up in a spectacular way. So yeah, from here I moved to 38 Nursery Gardens, consolidate myself, lick my wounds, and try to sort of build myself back up again, and put all the pieces together to carry on from this and what was a sad end to what I thought was going to be something really amazing. So this is the cottage, Wistow. Right, so behind me is number 38 Nursery Gardens, and this is the place that I came to after Wistow. So having had karma work its manipulative, wicked way with me, and having been left broken-hearted, I left Wistow and came here to just off Hull Road in York, and this was quite a nice little stopgap. Even though it was really hard to sort of deal with the repercussions of what happened to me, etc. But I was a 10-15 minute walk from work here, which was really nice. Good running routes, very good for all of that side of things. But it was a transition period, you know. It was me getting used to the fact that my children had left to go to Jakarta, so I was here by myself, starting from scratch again as a single man. And yeah, it was quite difficult. I got this place because I needed the room, but in essence I really didn't need it, and it was a bit of a waste of time. But nonetheless, I was here for probably about a year before I needed to go because the landlord needed to sell. So again, had to up sticks and move again. So a very short time here, quite a hard time. But at the same time there was something very nice about this particular place, very quiet, very isolated, and gave me good time to sort of reset, etc. So this is 38 Nursery Gardens. So here we are, number 24, the last of all of the postcodes, the place where Vanlife started from, and yeah, it's really bizarre. I managed to find the parking space, the exact parking space that I used to park the van, the place where I did all of the insulation, the cleaning, the kitting it all out, etc. And here we are, full circle, 24 postcodes.